Wonderful. So welcome everyone. Thank you for being here so bright and early. I am so grateful to be here with you. I'm very honored to be here with you. I'm excited to share the space with you. So today's masterclass is about transforming people's lives through your creative business and earn money doing it. And I think it's really exciting to be able to talk about this because I'm going to tell you a little bit about like my story, but I think this is important because I think as creatives, we start off loving art. We go to art school, we might have some different like artistic backgrounds, right? But we never learn that business aspect. We never learn how to actually put ourselves out there to make money. And it's really, really sad that in college, we pay all this money to go. And even in my art background, I have my undergraduate in studio sculpture, and then I got my master's in art therapy. They didn't teach us that component about how to market yourself, how to let others know like how amazing whatever you're doing is going to make an impact and make that ripple effect. So if you've tried putting your creative business together in the past, if you've had a lot of fears come up, such as like the imposter syndrome, not sure of yourself, having a lot of doubts, perfectionism, scared of being vulnerable, I understand because I've been there. Showing up and starting this process. But it's actually when you start to show up and start taking those actions, things start to come together. You learn, and it starts from taking those actions. So this is an opportunity for you to learn some things about how to show up and be able to make those ripple effects. So I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram or not, but ripple effects is my word of the year. I was making art about it this past week, and I feel like it's so important. It's part of my mission is to support others to show up and share their gifts. And so part of this web class, so this webinar that we're doing, this masterclass, is that I want you to learn some skills about like how I started doing it, and it's been successful for me and for some others that I've been working with. But I also want to let you know that I will be talking about my coaching course that is starting January 20th. It's a community, and it's called the Thriving Creative Course. And that's going to be starting in January 20th. And I want to let you guys all know about it. So if you feel like you're leaning into this, then this is that opportunity to, start this framework of stepping into your creative business and actually making money doing it. So I'm going to just tell you a little bit about my story. My name is Leah Guzman, and I've been an art therapist. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm saying this, for like 20 years. I've written 3 art therapy books. I have them behind me. We have Rad is Mad, Essential Art Therapy Exercise, and my newest one is the Art of Healing and Manifesting Program. And when I first started out, creating, I've always created art for myself. I've been an artist all my life. But there was actually a time when there was like a shift for me. And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that so you kind of see of like where I am at today and why I want to be able to offer what I'm offering to you. So I was practicing my art therapy. I want to say it was probably about maybe like 8 years ago when I had like a dark night of the soul. Don't know what that is. That means like I had a breaking point of being totally burned out, of where my kids were really little. I was practicing art therapy, but I wasn't practicing that self-care of doing my art, just taking care of myself. I was a big people pleaser, and I was saying yes to everyone else around me instead of like focusing on me. So I remember like waking up in the middle of the night, and we lived in a really small house at that time, just like hiding in the bathroom, putting the light on and just journaling at like at 3 a.m. and not knowing like how to get myself out of this hole that I was in, right? And I had that realization. I was like, oh my God, I actually need help. Like I need to go get help for myself. So I got an art therapist who was amazing. And part of taking care of myself, making art again, I realized that I wanted to make a bigger impact, because at that time I was working in for an institution, and, doing my art therapy there. But I was like, man, I want to go online. I want to like reach more people, I want to make an impact. So I started that process of putting myself out there, which was totally scary. I mean, the first time I even posted on Facebook, I went and like hid under my covers in my bed. Like I was just like, oh my God, what am I doing? It's scary, right? But it's been in those baby steps of showing up to like things like this, where I've had this expansion, right? So I had to heal a lot of different areas of my life. I think that when you start a business, things show up. It's like, I realized I needed boundaries. I needed to like set time for my business. I needed to heal my relationship with money because I didn't know how to charge for things. When people would ask me like, well, how much are are your services, or how much is your art? And I was like, it would freak me out. Like it was just like anxiety went up to here. And I realized like, oh, well, I need to deal with this. Right. So there's this aspect of, we all go through these dark times of like healing. And then I think when we get through that, that's where we want to step up. And I feel like maybe that's where you guys all are at. Like, you're ready to step up. You let me know in the chat, like you feel like you're ready. Yeah. And then it's like, this was like my stepping up, even though things come up, you still step up. Right. And so that's when I realized that I needed more support with like coaching. Right. And so I took a lot of business courses. I took out coaches, and that freaked me out too. I remember just hiring my first coach. I'm like, what am I doing? But it was good. It's all good stuff, because from each one I've learned how to heal my money issue that I had. I learned about community, which is what we're going to talk a lot about today. And it's been able to help me build a framework that allows me to step up and share my gifts. So this is where I feel this is where it can apply to you, as far as, we learn from these past experiences. Because when I first started showing up, I was actually, I was doing a lot of art therapy online. And I realized that the clients that I had, once they got the healing work, they were like ready to show up. And like you're saying, like, that's me, that's where I'm at now. Right. So, and that's when I was like, well, let me share those business, like the framework, the strategies behind it, so that you can package what you're doing and then find your people and co-create with them, and be able to offer what you have, which is, we're so multidimensional. We're coming from all different backgrounds, and we have so many different tools that we can share with others, right? So this is where I want to talk a little bit about that framework. So one thing in particular that I wanted to share with you is, I'm going to share the screen. I posted this on Instagram the other day, where I wanted to talk about the difference between art therapy and a creative coach. Because a lot of times when I come up here and they hear that I'm an art therapist, they're like, oh, you're going to teach me art therapy. And I was like, well, no, that's not what I'm teaching you. So I just wanted to show you this slide really quick. So let me find the share screen. Hold on one second, make this big. Okay. All right. Can you all see my screen? It's like green and blue. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I put art therapist or creative coach. So a lot of times there's like this like big gray area, and people are kind of confused about them. So I just kind of wanted to like just address this at the beginning, because I work with art therapists, and I also work with those of you who want to come out and share your gifts, right? And a lot of times, and the reason I want to bring this up is because the difference between the art therapy and the creative coaching or therapeutic art coach, things like that, a lot of people will think that they're doing art therapy. And so I just wanted to explain the difference, just to clarify, is that the art therapist has a master's degree and has a credentialing board that makes sure that they have enough supervision hours. And part of that is that you have that your art therapy register, that's when you have the amount of hours, and that you're board certified is like you take a test and then you're able to practice. So that's one aspect. The other part is that art therapists use psychotherapy and theoretical models to address mental health. So looking at like working with people with depression, PTSD, all these past traumas, bipolar disorder, all these things that people, mental illnesses that come up. And so you have to use this title to be able, I mean, you have to be trained in order to use this title. And part of this is teaching tools for emotional regulation, and you process art related to your life. So as an art therapist, you're equipped to deal with emotional, teaching, people how to deal with their emotional traumas, mental illness, and suicidal ideations. So things get triggered, and this is why it's important for people to get that right kind of support. But as a creative coach, and this is where that aspect, because I work with, like I said, I work with both, but as a creative coach, you get to use your life experiences, right? So we've all had those dark nights of the souls, right? Of something that has been tough for us. And then that's where we take that magic and you can share your story as your message. Okay. So what benefits those who you identify as your niche? So part of that Thriving Creative course, that's where we get really specific of, well, who do you want to serve? And a lot of people are like, well, I just want to serve everyone. Art's good for everyone. But the thing is that, you know what, when you're speaking and you're calling in your people, they want to resonate with you and they want to know what you're about and what your special gifts are and seeing if that's a match for them. So some of the titles that people are using are therapeutic art coach or life coach or healer or guide or art facilitator. So a lot of different ones. Not that you can make up whatever you want, it doesn't even matter. They have some sort of artistic background. They're doing art making for self-care. And then, yes, making art is beneficial. It reduces cortisol levels. That's that stress hormone. It's going to make you feel good, right? So I think it's really important for people to be making art, right? I'm really, really passionate for us. Art is our superpower, right? So let's jump in. Let's go help the world. Like I get really uplifted when I help my clients have that ripple effect. Okay, so I'm going to show you one other slide because this is what we're going to be reviewing today. We're going to talk about how to find your ideal clients, how to be a leader in your community, and how to show up consistently and make money. Because I think that's why we're all here, right? We want to know how to make money. So I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to just check the chat to see if I missed any question.
There's one from Lindsay asking that she's a therapist. Would she be able to call herself an art therapist?
Right. So yeah, it's just because you're a licensed mental health therapist, we have that license here in Florida, but you can't technically call yourself an art therapist unless you've had specific training in art therapies. And to get your master's in art therapy is a specific training. So there are art therapists that actually go and get their license in mental health counseling as well. So they get supervised under an LMHC. And they're able to then say they have LMHC and art therapy. So, but the art therapy is specifically because you're learning the tools specifically for art therapy. Okay. Okay, I hope we, yeah, so it's a protected title. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to just bring that up because I do see it a lot, especially like on Instagram, social media. And I think there's just like, people are confused. Honestly, when I first started out, when I was like 20 years ago, God seems like forever ago, but people, when I said I did art therapy, they're like, what are you talking about? What is that? I always had to explain myself. So I'm happy that nowadays that I don't have to do that, right? I don't have to explain myself as much. But what's cool about this is that, the more that we educate, the more we put ourselves out there, we're just clear about what we do and our intention and who we want to call in. That's where that magic happens. Because even like when I first started my online group, which I know a lot of you have joined, the Creative Soul on the Retreat, that was, like on my personal Facebook page, when I talked about art therapy, people didn't like resonate, like people from high school, they're like, what are you doing? So I was like, well, I got to find my people. Right. So that's why I created that group. So I was like, man, I want to connect with other creatives. I want, to talk about manifesting and law of attraction and art therapy and all this kind of good, juicy stuff, chakras that are exciting for me. But I have to call them in. Right. So a part of doing this, of like showing up and coaching people, I've had some really amazing things happen, such as working with clients, such as I've had Natalia, she's a graphic designer, and she wanted to like show up and do a self-development podcast. So she's building her community around that, right? Liz, who's an art therapist, she wanted more support in actually creating programs online and offering groups to practice on like self-care groups. So I've been supporting her with that. Kristen, she's a recovering addict, but she's also an artist. And so she was wanting, that's her niche, right? So she was wanting to do like more self-care art groups for the people in her community. So she's been able to do that with the program and make money doing it, which is amazing. So she's gonna say she's doing art therapy, but she's doing art groups that are very much healing and really amazing. Really, you know, it's awesome to see it. And we have Jen. I don't know if Jen's here or not. She said she might be able to come today. She is an artist, a creative guide, and she makes beautiful journals and decks. And so she, you know, finding her niche was finding other coaches that want to, you know, spread their message, give gifts to their clients. So she actually makes oracle decks and journals for them. So she's packaging her beautiful background and gifts, right? And then she also does the Creative Explorers Club, which is an online group for people who work during the week. So part of this is kind of looking at like, you know, where, you know, what do you want to offer, right? So part of this, like stepping up and like moving into what I'm doing today, it's all been baby steps, stepping stones of, you know, I didn't start off with just having my Creative Soul Society membership. It came through that co-creation of working with the community and what they wanted. So I want to think about like, what are some of the things that you want to offer? If you want to put it in the chat, I'd love to see. Is it like courses? Is it memberships? Is it women retreats? Is it, I don't know, what's going on? I want you to start thinking about like what it is that you'd want to dream up. Oh, someone said from iPhone, even though their name's not here, she's like, this speaks to me. I'm an art therapist, but I feel limited in what I can do because I'm into all the law of attraction, chakra, crystals, metaphysical stuff. Yeah, I had another client, her name's Laura, and she started the Rebel Collective. And the same thing, she had a clinical art therapy practice, and she's really into spirituality and doing yoga and all the crystals and all that metaphysical stuff. And she felt scared, like coming into this new world of how can I just be myself? Right. And so I feel like it's really powerful to be yourself. And that's what attracts people to you. Because like when I went to school, they told like us to be like a blank slate. Like, you know, you don't show expression, everything's a reflection, you don't let people know personal stuff. And I feel like as a person, as a human, I want to be human. I want to connect on a heart level space. And that's what I teach in my programs is like you come from a place where it's good to be vulnerable. It's good to let people know of your struggles and what you've been through to get to that other side, right? And I know that can be scary, but that's part of the learning here. Okay, so how to find your ideal clients. That's the first objective that way I wanted to go over. And it's kind of like a secret. It's like a lot of times I have people that like want to like to work with me, and they're like, you know, I worked so hard on my courses and I put it out there and then I didn't get anyone respond. And it's like, okay, well, did you do it with co-creation with your community, or did you just do it by yourself and just thinking that people were going to buy it, right? So what the difference is that you want to be able to co-create, right? You want to be able to listen to your community. And this is why I say, you got to build your community, right? So I build the Creative Soul on the Retreat group because these were my interests, but that I also listened to them and I was like, okay, well, what do you need? First, I started off with art therapy. And then I started learning that there are people that actually, these creatives who want to show up bigger. And that's why I started more of this coaching so that they can see how they can use their gifts and support others. All right, so I'm just going to go back to the chat because I want to see all these cool things. I want to do courses for kids, for women, meditation, teaching and traveling, workshops, retreats. Beautiful. Yeah. So this is part of it, is that it's not like you have to just do one thing. And that's because that's where the ideas come. It's like when you start creating, you're going to have a lot of different ideas. And that's the beautiful part of it, because then you can have multiple streams of income, right? You don't have to just do one thing. And then as you show up, more opportunities come, right? You get like speaking gigs. I actually, when I started showing up, that's how I got my book deal of that. I guess they were looking for art therapists, and they said they found me online. And I was like, well, the only reason they found me online is because I started showing up, right? Okay, I'm just going to go, wow, there's a lot of ideas here. Beautiful. Okay, I love this. So Vicky's still trying to figure out what you want. Okay, and that's okay. You're still trying to figure it out, because we, we evolve, right? Like if you would ask me a few years ago, like, would you want to do coaching for creatives? I was like, I don't know, but I'm really excited about it. I love getting texts from the people that I work with, and they say, guess what? I got a few more people signed up for my membership, or guess what? This and this happened. So it's really cool how when you start the momentum, it grows, right? And so since I started showing up online, I've been able to sign more coaching clients, I've been able to get more art therapy clients. And even that's how the Creative Soul Society membership, which I can't believe is this spring will be 3 years. I can't believe I've been doing it that long. But when I was doing the groups, actually the artwork that we were doing together, that's what evolved into my last book, which is Art of Healing Manifesting. Those are the exercises, because we were focusing on the chakras and manifesting and healing. I just put it into a book and now selling the book. So it's another source of income, right? So that's what I'm saying. It like evolves. It's like when you start taking the steps, those ideas come and you just start packaging it in different ways, right? Of putting it out there. Okay. So just looking about like what we like learn in the Thriving Creative course, it's really about learning how to nurture a community, creating the community, and then really nurturing them, because all of this is about, all business is about relationships. I did not know that when I first started. I remember I had an art show when I was like, I'm going to come out and show my art. And I remember just being there outside, and people would come into the little booth and they would look around. And I remember my brother-in-law was there, and he's like into real estate. And he's like, Leah, you have to actually talk to people. I was like, oh, I just thought they'd come and like buy stuff if they like, he's like, no, this is part of, you have to actually like talk to people, let them know about the art, engage them. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. So like, going from like totally clueless to like realizing like, oh, okay. So that's what I'm saying. This is what I started learning, especially when I started hiring coaches, is that, it's about community. It's about relationship building. It's about listening to what their needs are. You don't go create in a dark hole and then say, here, and then put it out there. It's like you build, you listen, it evolves, it morphs, right? So part of the Thriving Creative course is that it's like you learn how to build your community. You learned how to offer them things that they're going to be excited about, right? Learn how to manage your time so you're not in overwhelm. Learn how to price your offers. Like I had mentioned, I had no idea how to do that, but it's really important to get clear about like how much you want to bring in, and how much that you should put a price on things. I think it's really important to know them. I'm curious. Oh, Lindsay said the same thing happened to her. Oh, like showing up, I'm like, okay. Yeah, it could be scary, but it's a good learning. That's like how you learn. And even like with the emails, is like, that's what nurturing is like, so many of the creatives that I work with, they have that resistance to sending emails, but I actually make the most money from my emails, is because if you look at emails, they're just a communication system. It's just a way to say communicate of like, hey, this is where I'm at. What's inspiring you, what's going on, like if you want to be a part of this, join us, right? So it's really about a different way of looking at that communication, right? So in the Thriving Creative course, especially this round, we're going to be really focusing on those emails and how to nurture and how to tell your story, because people want to know about you. right? So the other aspect of this, other objective, is looking at being a leader. Because when you show up in community, you really do need to be a leader. And oh, Jen says, oh my God, working with Leanne, getting my email going has been a game changer. Yes, yes, I love it. Jen writes me all the time. She's like, I got another member in my group. I'm like, yes, that's what it's about. Like, I want to celebrate you. This is not about competition at all. Like, I really feel lit up talking about this and having clients that I work with that they're rising. Like, I love seeing artists on Instagram and stuff that they're making it. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. Like, we can do this, right? There needs to be more artists out there that are successful. When I first started, I'll just tell you a story. When I first started like this whole process, I did a whole interview series, and I wanted to, talk to Laura Halleck and Whitney Freya and Alina Hennessy, like people who I really looked up to. And it's like, what are they doing to like make money? Are they really just making it off their art? And I realized it wasn't. It was about, they had created communities and they were, nurturing them and making programs and things like that. I was like, oh, that's so brilliant. It's like, because we put so much pressure on our art. Even though I love my art and I love selling it, but I don't want it to come from that place where it's like, it has to like feast or famine because like it sells here or sells there. I really want to create multiple streams of income where I'm getting paid all the time when I sleep. I love that. It just comes in and it flows. So it's a totally different mindset and game, but it's actually really a great way to make a living. Okay, so going back to the community, and it's really important to get clear on what your clients' needs are, where they're at. So thinking about some of the experiences that you've had to help them. For example, I'm working with a client now. Her name's Kathy, and she is an artist, and she has a son that she has, who's like 38 years old now, and he needs like 24 hours care. It's like he's disabled. And so, that experience, like the art has always been healing for her because it's like her escape, right? But she has so much experience of as being a caretaker, a caregiver, that she can help other caregivers. She's at that point where like she has so much knowledge of what that's like of having to take care of someone for 38 years. And she's a nurse as well. So she has so much knowledge in that, but then now she can start offering groups and start really connecting with caregivers on that emotional level because she can, that she has that background. So I think that's powerful, of being able to meet people where they're at and be able to like use your art in that way. Okay. And, making your unique offer, because that unique offer, like what she's going to create is going to be totally different than what all of you are going to create. You're going to be coming from different places, right? Okay. All right. So getting clear, do you guys kind of feel like who your client is, who they're about? I used to think they were all kind of grouped together. And I just had this realization lately because I called my clients Zoe, which actually means life in Greek. And it's about experiencing life. And, when we have those dark nights of the soul and, bad times, that's about, experiencing life, right? So I do meet with clients that are there, right? But then I also meet with clients who are ready to step up their game. So they are in, it's called Thea in Greek, which means goddess. So I always think like, I see us as goddesses, like rising up to share a gift. So I'm kind of curious, where do you feel that you might be at? Because sometimes people think that they are in the Thea state, but they're really still working through their stuff, right? Because like, for example, for Kristen, she did the healing work before she actually went out there and started doing groups with people. And Kristen is the one that's in recovery from substance abuse. If you're in it, you can't be offering stuff because you're not in the same headspace, right? So I'm kind of curious, where do you feel like are you feel like you're ready to like step up and share it? Because we kind of can go back and forth because life happens, right? Okay. So just looking at any other blocks that are coming up, because I'd love to talk about that as well. If like anything is coming up, or like, where do you feel that you're not good at? Is it, some people think that, oh, Rebecca says, did the healing, ready to help others. Okay. Rose says, I think I'm ready to rise up. I want more. I can see it. Stepping up. All right. I'm feeling that. Yeah. I think you got to really know where you're at. I have no clue how to get my community started. Okay. That's something we teach in the Thriving Creative course about calling people in. I struggle with charging, what to charge, and holding firm. Okay. So yeah, Lindsay, so a lot of what, when I started doing like the money work, and I have exercises in my book where I've done like the money monster of like looking at that anxiety that's related to it. And then that money honey, it's like the universe will gift you when you start doing the work, when you start looking at, you know, you look at your life, like how much of your life that you went to school and how much knowledge that you have and what really people are buying is your essence. Like, you know, does it feel, does it resonate with them? So you put that price, there's no rules to that. You put the price that you feel is resonating with you. When it feels icky, when you give something and you put too low of a price, you're going to feel it. You're going to say, you know what? I feel like I'm just giving away my stuff for free. I feel like I'm not that that's bad. I'm not saying giving away stuff for free is bad. I'm just saying that when you value yourself too low, it becomes an imbalance of energy. So I always look at it as energy, and it's just an exchange of energy. Even like selling something, it has to be, it's like a balance. And so that's why I feel good about it, because it's an exchange. Okay. Jen is ready to step up and serve others. Awesome. Stepped out of my comfort zone and still doing more, which feels like steps in the right direction. Yes. As long as as long as you're taking action, that's when the movement happens. If we're not, you know, taking action, that's where we're going to get stuck. I don't know where to find my community and how to really put myself out there. Okay. So yeah, so it's really looking at what you're about, your experiences, and how is that going to serve someone else? So looking at what their needs are, what are their pain points? What are, you know, where do they, you know, what do they need that you would be able to give them? And then putting yourself out there, letting them know, hey, I'm here. I can support you with that. Right. So that we go dive deeper in that in the Thriving Creative course. And that's where you start offering experiences and building your list so that you have people to offer things to. So Thea says, I've been 6.5 years of counseling after my daughter's death. Oh, I'm so sorry. Continue with my artwork and now ready to add more training to my process. Okay. Yeah. So the training could come from different places. So sometimes we might be at a place where we feel like we need to go take more coursework. I mean, I've worked with clients where after working with them, they're like, actually for art therapy, they're like, I want to become an art therapist, which is great. You can do that, right? You can go and get more training or whatever you want. This particular, what we're talking about here is just taking what you have, right? So you don't have to go take like a business coach or business course that isn't related to art and then trying to understand it. This is like taking, you know, your own experiences and offering it to someone else because you've learned the lessons, taking your unique gifts. Lisa says, not super good with community. I like being the lone wolf, solo hermit at this phase of life. And that might work for you. I just feel that, you know, if you like to show up and make offers and, you know, do it, you can't really do it by yourself, right? It's very, yeah, we do this in community. Okay. Lana says, I think finding a schedule list of what to do next to build a group, also to find the right group. I hear about the balance of energy. Balance is key. Yes. Yes, Gala, this session is recorded. Okay, when did you invite in more personal support for your business, like hiring assistants? Actually, when it wasn't fun, meaning that, as you grow, that's where, you know, you might want to brainstorm ideas. So that's what the Thriving Creative course, that's what I love it. It is a community. We have several people, like, you know, it's a group of us where we're sharing, brainstorming ideas. And so as you grow and say the course is over and you're like a year down the road and you want to brainstorm ideas with people, this is that place where you can hire assistance, right? I think I first started out actually, I did a trade with someone where she was like organizing my Instagram, and then I can remember I gave her something and like in return, and then now I pay someone to with with some of the things that I don't like doing. So yeah, so it goes to you got to look at where you don't like in your business. But I say, emails, I had a trouble with too, because I always felt like I wasn't able to like speak or communicate what I really wanted. But then I realized that it was just like a mindset shift. I was like, oh, wow, this is actually really serving me to be able to communicate and tell my story and why this is important. So that's really huge. So that's where that mindset shift is. It's like, okay, well, how do I do that? Right. Okay. Okay. Oh, Rashni says she has to get going. That's totally fine. There is a replay. You can always come back. Okay. So basically, I just kind of want to go back to, looking at like the Thriving Creative course again, just a little bit, because it's really a system that shows you how to show up consistently, because that's the key here. Consistency is huge. You just don't show up just one time. It's like you make a plan to show up consistently without overwhelm. Like you have to like find your flow. And so we talk about different systems of being able to do that. You get accountability because you get to work with other creatives that are there and see where you're at. So week to week, we're learning new skills, building upon it. And then you get to show up as you build your community and calling people in. And as you show up, this is when you gain your voice. Like you start to understand like, oh, this is what's important to me. This is what my values are. This is what I want to teach. This is what I want to inspire. Right. So you learn those leadership skills, and also you get to practice them. I have a lot of people that I'm working with. They'll practice in the Creative Soul Society membership, doing a group, running a group, holding space. That's really important. Okay. All right. So I think I'm going to just go ahead. So are you guys enjoying this so far? Are you kind of learning how it builds upon itself, showing up? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, good.
Yeah, can I just ask a very quick question?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
With the replay, I've just had a question. Replay, will it be sent by email as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, most
email and on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put the replay. I'll post it probably on YouTube, and then I'll post it in the group, and then I'll send in the replay with links to the Thriving Creative course that's going to be happening January 20th. If you like want to like start creating your own community. Because like I said, like I've been watching other people that I look up to, and it is about community. And that's what like the coaches that I've hired. So I'm trying to save you money here of like not having to like go do all these million things, but just to say, hey, this is where it starts of these relationships, right? It's relationships with people and understanding where they're at and being able to serve from that place. And you don't have to be like way over here. It's really just being like a step ahead of saying, this is where I'm at and this is where I can teach you, right? And then leaning into it, stretching yourself. It is scary, but it's good to every year I do something within my business where I stretch myself. But if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't have had, be where I'm at, which I'm really happy with. And I want to continue stretching myself and expanding and have those ripple effects. So it's thinking about, I've had clients that want to like grow and show up online. And I've had clients where I'm thinking of Liz, where she's like, you know what, I really don't want to show up online, but I just want to learn the techniques of like running a group and what kind of exercises would be helpful for the people in my group. And that's what she took from it. And then how to reach out to certain niches. And that's what she took out of it so that she can grow in that way, because you don't always have to do it online, like showing up consistently online, but there are other ways that you can hone into a niche and being able to share a presentation, an experience, like a free experience. Like she's decided to go working with people who have kids with autism. So she started reaching out to those agencies and doing presentations and growing that way. So a lot of different ways that, like the different tools in the program that I teach you. All right. So I want to tell you more about the Thriving Creative course, because that's going to be starting. And really, if you follow the steps in the 8 weeks that I teach you, you could be making money within like 3 months. I mean, even Kristen did it. She was able to pay. She did the year program, but she was able to pay for it because she started doing the groups with her niche, which was, I told you that she was in recovering addict. So yeah, so that's what's cool about it. I'm going to just share my screen again so that you can kind of see like how it works. Okay. I really do believe that people need whatever it is that you have to offer. Like art is your medicine and your unique gift and your service. So this is your opportunity to step into it. And now's the time. I love Mel Robbins. I don't know if you guys follow her or not. She had some motivational speech the other day, and she was like, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow and die. And I'm like, oh God, that's awful, Mel, but it's true. It's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Wait for when we're ready. Wait for when everything's perfect. Wait for we do like that other class or whatever else that we feel like we need. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys all see this? Yes, no? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Jamie. I got the thumbs up. Okay, so the Thriving Creative course, this is what I talked about. This is the 8 weeks where we're going to be meeting on Fridays from 4 to 5:30 as a group, and I'm going to teach you the steps. So there are replays in this group if you can't make it live, where we support each other and share our ideas and how we're going to package things, what we're going to, put the price on, how we're showing up in community. And what's fun about it is that the members will actually go to your group and support you when you do your free experiences and calling people in and things like that. So you do have that sense of community and feeling supported. Just to explain here, I have a larger program. It's called the Art of Healing and Manifesting program, which is like my year-long. So the Thriving Creative course is actually like a little segment within it, because the year-long program, you get to join this group for like 3 times. Because like I said, this is about consistency. You don't just show up once and just expect the magic to happen. This is about you show up, you learn, you co-create, and you show up again a few months later. So it doesn't just happen with like a one-time thing. So a part of this, I had mentioned of me showing up, I started to create a Soul Society membership. And I really love it because I feel like it nourishes my soul. It's all about self-care. Being a part of, if you did the year-long package, I'm actually going to show a smaller package today, which is called the Citrine. You get to be a member of the group and you can actually present in the group. And I'll pay you for presenting. Coaching. So part of the year-long, you get 14 coaching sessions, which is pretty amazing because this is where we can get laser focused on what your needs are. So if you feel like you're at a point where you need extra support, this is where I can do that. So the year-long program is 14 sessions. And like I had mentioned, you get this awesome mastermind where we learn how to make money and how to market, because it's so important. Okay, so here's some really cool creatives that I've been talking about. This is Natty with her personal growth podcast. She is a graphic designer. She's really successful in her own way, and she has her own business, but she is ready to step it up and share the love. Next to her is Alexis, who's a writing coach, and she just wanted to leave her day job. She's like, I just need the confidence and some skills, and she's been able to leave her day job and do writing coaching. This is Liz, an art therapist who wanted to do her self-care online groups, and she's been successful leading those. There's Jen. Jen's here today, which is awesome. She's doing the Creative Explorers Club, which is a membership group. She has her own community, which I'm really, really proud of her. And she also has a product creation with creating Oracle decks for people and journals. We have Courtney here, another art therapist who she's actually on maternity leave right now, but she is amazing. She does lots of spiritual healing, and she's going to be starting her online group soon. This is Laura. She started the Rebel Collective, and this is the art therapist I was talking about, was doing very clinical work, and now she's moved into doing more of that spiritual online practice. Kristen's the one in the middle who was in recovery and now doing self-care groups. We have Heather on the right here, another amazing therapist, and she is doing more in-person groups. She lives in the Northeast, and so that's where she wanted to do. So, which is really awesome. And she's writing a few books at this time. So it's more about like stepping into your power and using your unique gifts. I hope you guys got that. So it's like we all come from different places, but it's just stepping up, right? So like I had mentioned, I'm offering a citrine package, which, you know, is for our therapists, coaches, art facilitators, artists. If you want to write a book, if you want to have membership courses, accountability, getting clear on your offers, you get to practice your leadership skills, and you get to gain confidence, because the confidence comes by doing it. Honestly, I used to have so much doubt with myself. And I remember one of my coaches telling me that. She's like, you just got to believe in yourself. It's like, you know, it's just like kind of just showing up and just saying, man, this is what I offer. I think there's just so much imposter syndrome that we just have to just say, you know what, I have it. I have this in me that I know it's going to make those ripple effects, right? So the online, the year program, this is kind of like an added up of like the value of the year program. So the Creative Soul Society membership on a monthly basis is $33, but for the year it's $397. The Thriving Creative course is $1,500 just for one, but since you get three, it's $4,500. Individual sessions, you get $2,800. The painting classes that I have online about the chakras, and then my book and deck. So like, how much does all this cost, right? You're like, what is this about? So, oh my gosh. So the value of adding all of that up is actually like $8,000, which is like, whoo. So every year that I've been showing up, my prices range. So right now, if you actually go to my site, I don't actually charge you this. I actually charge you $4,400 for the year. So when I look at it, I was like, wow, I do offer a lot. And all of this has been like building blocks. I first started off, I think it was $1,000 and $2,000 and $3,000. Now it's $4,000, right? So this is part of my own money relationship, right? Of expanding myself, right? So that's why I wanted you to know that this is a process of like charging and understanding your value and what you offer. And what's cool about it is that your ideas grow and your offerings grow with your community. So you have to ask yourself is how much would you pay to learn the marketing skill? So just thinking of like a number, what's important to you, right? How much would you pay to learn to create amazing courses or memberships or retreats or books, right? And how much would you pay to actually follow through? To say like 6 months from now, oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm stepping up. I'm letting people know what I have to offer, right? So how much would it be for you? So you can put numbers on there, right? Like, what do you value? What do you want to do? So what I've done is I do do the year package. So if you want to do something like that, you're welcome to schedule a call with me. I do those with the calls. But what I wanted to create for those of you who are just kind of like leaning in and saying, I want to start this. So I created a package and I'm calling it the Citrine. So it's like a kind of like a smaller package of my Art of Healing Manifesting program. So the smaller package includes a year membership, the Thriving Creative course, but you get to do it one round, which we're about ready to start. You'll get individual sessions, you get 7, and you'll get the online painting classes, which are in the back end of my site. Those are just pre-recorded, and you get the book and deck. So for that, I'm going to offer $2,200. or you could do like a monthly. So sometimes people like to like ease into things. So I wanted to let you know that this is available if you'd like it. The other, this is like a special that I'm doing. And the other special is if you just want to do the Thriving Creative course, I do have a special that's that group. If you want to do that, I do have a special just on that. The reason why I included the individual with the group is because I know that I needed it. I feel like every time I've done like coaching with other people, they've had group programs too. But I honestly feel like the individual is where I got like the most growth from, because they were able to like go into those limiting beliefs and say, let's rework that. Right. So that's where I wanted to let you know, like, I felt like it's beneficial. I know Jen's here. Maybe Jen would like to like comment on what she's felt. Has it been beneficial for her? Oh, let me exit my screen. Stop share. Oh yeah, you can unmute, Jen. Thanks.
Hi. Yeah, I do feel that the one-on-one stuff for me personally has been very beneficial. As great as the group stuff is too, they're both really beneficial, but the one-on-one stuff for me has been super beneficial because I get to work on specifically my needs, my goals, uncovering limiting beliefs. It always reminds me to celebrate myself. And I always need that reminder, and I'm very grateful for it. But sometimes when you're in it, you can't see the pullback perspective of like where you might actually be getting caught, even if you don't feel it. And she's able to very lovingly catch me when I'm doing that and like point it out to me. And I'm kind of like, oh, I'm totally doing that. And I didn't realize, and then I can course correct. And it's amazing to have that personal attention to be able to like pinpoint that stuff.
Yeah. And what I loved working with you is just kind of getting clarity on your offers too. I think that we spent a lot of time just like kind of packaging it, like you kind of put it into your website in a different way. You hired a photographer, like you were able to like level up, and it's like, wow, that looks awesome. Right.
Yes. And that clarity was really important because if you didn't hear Leah before, I do multiple things. So I was getting really caught in, oh my God, how do I separate these out? How do I put them together? And I was just spinning in confusion, and now I'm not confused. And I have a website, and I have professional photographs, and I have a club, and like all of it like happened very quickly along with projects that I'm working on for people.
Yeah, which is awesome because you're part of the year long. So we still have like 2 more rounds of Thriving Creative course, and I invest in myself too. So I can't wait for like this next round to like teach you even more, because I have a lot to share. So I'm excited that you're going to be there.
Yes. And I will say that I did my free experience, and then now I have my like paid membership. And I have to tell you guys, if I wasn't in the first round of that and like hadn't set dates, I don't think that Play Shop, that free experience ever would have happened, because I had already agreed to it and like put things in motion, and then big projects came in. And if I hadn't had that community and that support, I think I would have put it on the back burner, and I don't know when I would have ever gotten around to it. So I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, most definitely. And the reason that we do the free experiences, like we get together to plan out, put dates and say, this is what it's going to be about, is that, people need to know you, like you, and trust you. And that doesn't happen by you just like putting something out into the world and just expect people to buy it. Like they want to like see your face. They want to hear you speak about it and show up. And so you did, you showed up, and it gets easier. And I was so proud of you because you followed through with like the steps. So it's like doing it again, like picking a date again and saying, and you can change it and tweak it. And I promise you, it gets so much easier. And I think it's fun. Like I actually have fun showing up. I'm excited to be here today.
It was easy to follow the steps. I'm now doing email, which I was like, Leah will tell you, it was like, I would write her. I was like, I feel like this is torture. And now I'm like, oh my God, I love writing these emails and stuff. And somebody's asking, I think the club is I don't know what that question is. I don't know if that's free.
Because it's called the Creative Explorers Club. So she started her own membership called the Creative Explorers Club. I think that's what she's referring to. So is the club question for the woman who is speaking from your program? I'm not understanding you. Yeah, if you could reword that, Betsy, just so that I can understand. Oh, she just wanted to know. Yeah, so Jen was part of my year-long program, and so she created her own like membership, and she has her own unique offers of writing the books and creating the Oracle decks. And so she has different avenues to present them, to speak up in different ways so that people know. I think that's the hardest part as well, besides those emails, is just letting people know, because we have these opportunities where we connect and it's like, well, where do I have the opportunity to just like share what I'm doing or show up in a way? And so it's getting comfortable and confident to just be able to tell people.
Yeah, and I got really clear because I also like belong to local networking groups, and I've been able to speak very clearly at them about my offers. And every time I go, I wind up selling offers, which is very cool and was not happening before.
Yeah, so it's just kind of that shift, like, oh, here's this opportunity where I can say, hey, I can help you, because then you know what their needs are. Like it's a total, like that's where you're learning is like, what are their needs and how can I help them? Because we all have so much knowledge. You have so much knowledge in that certain area. Like there's these different areas that we will grow, which is awesome. And Luca is going to be joining us. She said, I signed up for the Thriving course, which is awesome. So she's going to do the group component. And I'm looking forward to hearing more about her niche and how she's going to be nurturing them and supporting them and what they need. Oh, Luca, thank you for correcting me. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you, Jen, for coming up on here. If there's any other questions that you have, please email me. So Becca was really kind. She put my link into the chat here. So basically, I have on my website, I have the citrine package. I'm going to send you the link in the replay, which I'll send out in a little bit after this, or if that's something that resonates with you, like, yeah, I'd like to do the membership and have those individual sessions and, be a part of the Thriving group, then you can go that way. But you can pay in full. If you want, or you might need the payment plan, you'll just have to schedule a session with me so we could do the payments online, because I didn't set it up in the back end of my site. So we can schedule that. And same thing with the Thriving course. If you just want to join that group course, I do have a special right now. If you like pay in full, then you'll get like 2 coaching sessions. But if not, I also have a payment plan. So I'm a big believer in payment plans. I feel sometimes people are more comfortable with that. For Lisa, can you ask your question again, Lisa? It says that is more Leah's Creative Soul Society, right? What do you mean by that? Can you ask me again? You can unmute yourself, like.
I think she's answering somebody's question above another Lisa.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the iPhone says she'll email me a couple questions. Yeah, most definitely. Okay, thank you all for showing up. I am grateful to be able to serve you, and I hope that you got some more clarity about like how this works. Believe me, you can make money in many different ways and have multiple income streams by starting this practice of showing up, growing your community, nurturing them, and then co-creating with them. So, all right, I look forward to working with you. I hope you join me. It's just going to end on January 14th is when the specials are ending. All right, take care and have a beautiful rest of your day.